Okay, good morning. Just a little bit of a quick video for dessert dishes background. How Father has brought me up and into this world and given me the things that He's given me in order to be equipped in a special way to just kind of be a herald, to throw the information out there and speak to the sheep that will hear my voice, and those are the people that are a dessert dish. And if you don't know what that means and you're watching this, go back into my videos, and there is only one video with a dessert dish, quite beautiful little rainbow colored dish. That's a new word, dish. Maybe that's an abbreviation. Anyways, go back and watch it, and I read a little short story that Father gave me describing what a dessert dish is. And if it appeals to you and it draws to you and it resonates in your spirit, then you'll know what I'm talking about. So, Father's revealed so much to me in the past 3.5 years, and one of the biggest things he revealed to me was something about the way that I was raised, and I'm going to start there. When I was born to a mother who wanted a son and a father who desperately desired to have a daughter his whole life. Now, my mom had already had one baby girl, and that was my older sister. So when she was pregnant with me, she wanted a boy. She did not want me, but my father wanted me desperately, and it was the only thing he ever wanted, was one daughter. That's just what he dreamed about. So he got what he wanted when I was born, so he was thrilled. The way that I was raised by my father was quite unusual. My dad was a very big, strong, burly, incredibly protective, charismatic, flirtatious, funny. He definitely had his brokennesses, and I'm just going to leave those out because they don't really pertain to this. But he was just bigger than life, and I was the center of his universe. He loved me beyond anything that I could ever express to anyone, and we had a very intimate relationship with each other. He called me his princess. He called me his little pumpkin. He just adored me. I can't explain to you the adoration that I received for the first 12 years of my life. He would play little games with me. He'd wake me up in the morning and he'd sing songs to me. And he would go through this gamut of questions with me. This is pretty personal stuff too. I just realized that maybe my family members might be hearing this for the first time if they ever run across me doing this. And I've never really told any of them this, and they probably wouldn't believe me anyway, because that's just the nature of my relationship with a lot of them. But anyways, he would sing to me and he'd wake me up and we'd go through this question and answer game. And he'd ask me things like, "Who are you?" And I'd say, "I'm my daddy's girl." And he'd say, "And what does that mean?" "That I'm beautiful and I'm perfect and that I can do anything that I want in this world because I am able." And he would say, "Right." And he taught me what the answers were to these questions. And we would play this little game, and he'd say, "And how much does your father love you?" And I would say, things like, "More than to the moon and back and to the ocean." And he'd say, "More." And then he would hug me and kiss me, and we'd get our day started. He took me everywhere with him. We did lots of things together. I went flying in planes with him when he was a crop duster. I went trucking with him when he was a trucker. He was a jack of all trades. Just handsome. Oh man, he was so handsome. And he would he wooed me and loved me and adored me. And my whole early childhood, aside from the brokenness that was also there, was magical. These things that he instilled in me. A kind of love I can't explain to you. I walked 2 feet above the air, 24/7, everywhere I went. Unfortunately, I did develop a lot of enemies because of this. Even my own mother didn't like me. Everybody thought I was arrogant. They thought I was full of myself. They thought that I thought I was better than everyone else. I just knew who I was, and I had no doubts because my father drilled it into my head every day, and we played these little games to reinforce it. And everywhere we'd go or anything we'd do, he'd be doing his work or something, I'd be hanging out with him, and he'd always throughout the day make this point to stop and see me and find me and be like, wink at me, and say, "How's my girl?" And I'd be like, "I'm great, Daddy." "Well, that's right. That's how I want you." It was an unusual upbringing. Let's put it at that. Well, let's say this progressed until my father died when I was 12. He was my life. He was my breath. He was everything to me. This relationship we had was everything. And as soon as he passed away, I died with him because he was my life. He was everything, this relationship that we had with each other. I don't want to make this too long, but basically it was this incredible thing. There are very few little girls that get raised like this, believing that they're all that in a bag of chips, unstoppable, beautiful, perfect princesses that can do anything in the whole world, and they're told that day in and day out by a man that they just adore. So I was left with a mother who resented me for my relationship with my father and siblings that didn't really get me. I was a dessert dish, square peg, round hole, the whole 9 yards. And I spent 30 years mourning the death of my father and living in deep anxiety, deep depression. You know if you're a dessert dish, the valleys that you go through being this kind of person. Well, long story short, about 3.5 years ago, Father woke me up and walked me through this process. It was when I was introduced to Global Witness, and as many of you, that was part of my process. But something incredible happened to me. Because I literally, part of me has been dead. I've been through broken relationship after broken relationship, searching for the love of my dad, looking for that thing that's going to make me float on air again, subconsciously, of course. Damaged relationship after damaged relationship after damaged relationship. And this has been my life, and it's been pretty miserable, quite a bit of it. I mean, I see it now in hindsight, and it was beautiful. Father walked me through everything I needed to be equipped for this. But about a year ago, I was sitting with him and just yet another train wreck in my dessert dish life going, what does this mean? I don't understand, Father. Can you please help me? And I said, I need to know what's going on with my heart. I don't know if I can go on any further. How long is it going to be before I stop hurting over the death of my dad? I can't breathe without him. And then Father just said, I need you to be quiet for a minute. And I said, okay. So I just sat there, and he goes, you really loved your father, didn't you? And I just started to cry and lament about my feelings for him and what he meant to me. And he said, what do you remember about him most? And I said, that twinkle in his eye. My dad had this incredible twinkle, and other people knew it too. The women, the ladies really loved him because he had this thing where he'd look at you and he'd wink at you and you'd melt, right? And I told Father that, and he said, sweetheart, I have something to tell you. And I said, what, Father? And he said, who do you think that twinkle was? And I just sat there for a minute, and he said, I handpicked your biological father to teach you who you are in such a concrete, foundational way that you would die without it. And you have spent the last 30 years feeling as if you were dead. And I did come close to death. I had several lists of long diseases that were taking me out before Father, opened my life in this way. And I just sat there for a minute, and I said, what do you mean? He said, all those accolades, all those games back and forth, the adoration that you received, that assuredness of who you were, that wasn't your biological father that I chose to bring you into the world with. That was me. I raised you. I wanted you to know this because you need to take it into the world and give it to other people. And I fell on the floor, and I literally bawled, not a mournful cry, but the most beautiful, because that father that I had longed for my whole life never left me. He embodied my physical father, but he never left me, and to have that realization was overwhelming to me. And as soon as I heard that and I knew that whole thing fell off of me. And all of a sudden I was that 12-year-old little girl walking 3 foot above the ground. And I've been doing it every day since. And this is not to gloat or to say that I'm special or that, that I'm better than anyone. This is the burden and the gift that Father gave me so that I could come to you with a confidence that can't be shaken. It can't. It just can't be shaken, because this path I have to take is long and hard. And to find all of you is not going to be easy. I had to have it in order to be able to speak to you. And some of you that are closer to me and have, reached out to me to let me know that these words Father speaks are so impactful to you. It's part of the reason why. Because I am his girl. And every one of us are his girl, his boy. And I'm not negating that all people aren't, but people with this special gifting, they have a special job. And I am here on mission, on purpose, by choice, to come and find each and every one of you. Because I adore you the way that Father does. I finally get it, and I'm finally whole. It was my Father, the source, the great creator of all, who personally raised me in my life for the first 12 years of my life. And that is just a little bit of background as to how I've been equipped to take this task on. I love you guys so much more than I can ever express to you. And I just wanted to share this with you. How long is it? Ooh. Okay, I thought it said 49 minutes. No, it's only 10 minutes, I think. Gosh, I hope so. I don't think I talked that long, did I? But anyways, it's a magical and an amazing thing to believe what I've just told you. But I tell you that this is what Father showed me, and it was the most, and I just always knew something didn't feel right, and that's why it almost took me out, because I was raised by him. All the things that happened in my early childhood years, it's amazing to me, so that I have a knowing that's so concrete it can't be moved. And I'm going to continue on. I don't know what Father has next for us, what we're going to do. I'm probably going to be creating a server eventually just for the dessert dishes, so we can talk and interact with each other and be, who we are, and find out, help us find each other and find out what our mission is. Each one of you has your own mission. All I'm here to do is to kind of be like a lighthouse that says, hey, this is what Father says about you. Does it resonate? Then come on over. So anyways, that's it. And I'm just going to post this morning, and go and watch Tracy and Bernice's video if you haven't this morning. She's got some great things to say and some really poignant things as we're moving into this whole off-grid idea, and this mission just escalates. Good stuff. Love you, and I'm looking forward to this journey. I don't think I can put a thumbnail on this. I'm going to try to make it look like a dessert dish video, but I'm lacking in my technology at this point. But love you, have a wonderful day, and I'll be talking to you really soon.